Hello there, everyone. Glad to have you all here. And coming up soon, I'm going to start getting back out and doing the things I love doing. But however, it is going to be a little bit different for a start. Plus the social distancing and the wearing of the face covering. But like I say, this is still going to be a successful YouTube channel, as we have done since all the lockdowns we've done throughout this terrible coronavirus pandemic. And one of my favourite dead miles to visit, that's it, the Mander Centre in Wolverhampton on the lower level. Now, as you probably know, the lower level has not seen many people for quite some time because, as you know, the centre is usually bustling on the upper level because it's like a two-floor shopping mall, a bit of a mini version of Merry Hill Centre, as you would like to say. And the lower mall itself used to have so many good stores, and you even had Woolworths, which was one of the bigger anchors in the centre, but it only had one floor because Boots was right above it, and Boots is still in the centre today. And as you probably also know, that Woolworths had a back exit onto Dudley Street. I used to love going into Woolworths when it existed within the centre. And it was one of the best ones. It's now a branch of H&M, but previously it was Discount UK, which was part of that defunct Pound World business. And just right next door to that used to be BHS. Now, BHS used to have two shopping levels, and there was another level above it where the restaurant was, where I used to go in all the time. And as you know, BHS had two access levels to the shopping centre, but however, the upper floor did not just have the access into the shopping centre, it also had the access onto Dudley Street. And BHS was yet another big anchor in the Mander Centre. There were so many anchors in the Mander Centre at the time, but now there is none left. There's only one that is actually surviving, and it's major, and used to be known as Owen, which was actually a big department store in the Mander Centre. It later changed to, as you know, TJ Hughes, which was the second large department store in Liverpool, until the company went into administration back in 2011, and later became Debenhams. But before Debenhams entered the administration, they said that they will not continue to trade in Wolverhampton, and it had to increase the footfall in the Mander Centre because the mall had been dead for some time, and when they opened it, it actually brought people back into the centre, to saving people going to Merry Hill, Telford and Birmingham and Walsall, where there was other Debenhams stores to go to, when you got the one in the Mander Centre. But now that unit is occupied by Fraser's and Sports Direct. And of course, Sports Direct used to be in the Mander Centre before under Sports World, and it actually had only one shopping level but had a non-existent basement. And it was actually one of the best Sports Direct, apart from it being a little bit tatty and gloomy. And then it moved outside into the former JJB Sports, and now it's moved back into the centre, but within that new Fraser's concept department store, along with flannels and USC and game. Because Wolverhampton does deserve to have concept department stores within their shopping centre. And let's carry on with a couple of other stores in the centre. Of course, there are lots of dull walls right around the lower level now, and I will show you that when this COVID situation improves, and when all the non-essential shops also reopen as well. And like I say, it is one of the best popular malls. Of course, before you used to have Millie's Cookies as well, which everyone loved, especially me. I used to love going to Millie's Cookies, especially with the sticks on the cookies with all them Smarty, M&Ms, you name it. And that was a really good, attractive business. But sadly, Millie's Cookies pulled out years ago. And of course you had Spudge You Like, which was like a jacket potato restaurant. There's still a franchise at Merry Hill, but it's been one of the popular brands to be attractive into Wolverhampton. And of course, before you used to have the central lifts, which were glassless, and they moved them for the shopping centre refurbishment. Of course, you used to have Tesco's as well, and Costa. And Tesco was one of the major supermarkets within the centre, in the Mander Centre, Wolverhampton. Of course, you used to have Evans, which was part of the Arcadia group, but sadly, they've now become an online brand. Of course, you got HMV, which is one big known store within the centre as well on the Upper Mall. Of course, you've got the Entertainer, which is a toy shop and does not open on Sundays. And you used to have Mothercare, but they closed back in 2016, the same time scale when BHS closed. And as you know, BHS on the lower levels now occupied by Wilko, Wilkinson's, and then on the upper level it's occupied by B&M Bargains. And Wilko does have the exit onto Dudley Street, because there's actually a staircase at the back of the store. You can't go upstairs into B&M because it's in competition. And of course you have a lot of independents like men's clothing, and of course you used to have WH Smith's within the centre. You don't have a WH Smith's in the centre anymore, because there's only one in the rail station at Wolverhampton. And shops will be opening soon on the 12th of April, and it's going to be an irreversible roadmap, let's hope. Of course, there are a lot of changes that's happening with the Mander Centre happening, and I will come to one store which probably is part of what the Mander Centre does deserve, but however it's a unit that I'm actually not keen on, so I'll get to that bit any moment. And as you see, the Mander Centre also used to have Kodak, which is actually a vision place for photographs, etc., and even batteries. There used to be one on the lower level. Of course, you had Pound World, which got branded as One Below, which was like their replacement with the likes of Poundland. And of course, you used to have Poundland within the centre, but you don't anymore because Poundland is now moved on to is moved into the other sister centre, which is the Wolfram Centre. And of course, you used to have butcher's shops in the centre. You had them all, but you don't anymore. And there's been quite a lot of centre stores have pulled out because the business. Of course, you have Matalan, which is now one of the biggest anchors. It used to be a New Look, but New Look moved into a smaller unit, which was on the lower mall, which actually took over a space of an old Superdrug and also another set of rower stores, because there used to be a little lower level arcade where there used to be a JD Sports. Of course, JD Sports has now moved on to the upper mall, because that part of the mall has been dead for some time. Of course, you got Charity Shop, PDSA, and that was another, and that is one kind of store that you'd find in the centre. Of course, it's in the Victoria Arcade, which is absolutely one of the dullest part of the centre, which everyone doesn't tend to go. Of course, moving on into the Victoria Arcade, of course, you used to have Bon Marche, which I doubt is going to open after the coronavirus, because as you know, Bon Marche has been struggling to trade. And then there's that weird looking unit right next door, of course. Just before the weird looking unit, you got Sony Centre. You have the Central Cafe, which I think has been the original tenant. Used to have a Thompson travel shop, which is branded as TUI, which I assume used to be Lumpolly. Yeah, you used to have body care in that part. You used to have the men, and then you used to have quite a few independents. And now moving on to that weird looking unit in the centre, which I don't find is very interesting, really. It looks dull inside. It's currently going to become the community hub, which the Mander Centre is actually planning on opening. Well, is going to be set to open when all these shops reopen. Of course, it's still in a very bad condition, but however, this is the way how people want to pay, because like the unit is cheap. And for most centres, if you recommend, they should take out all the old lights and put like decent lights in to make it a lot better, because that scaffolding that's right attached to it, it just doesn't make me think it should be designed to be a specific shop these days, because I think it was designed like that back in like the 90s days when shops tend to look like that. And I can explain who occupied that unit for a start. Originally, previously it used to be known as that Halloween House, which was a pop-up shop, which also had a branch at Merry Hill Centre. And as you probably know, I did a vlog at that centre. At that Halloween House in Merry Hill in the old Sports Direct store. Of course, it was one of the most attractive businesses to be. And of course, they came along to Merry Hill back in 2019. And it was a huge success. And then they made it even bigger when it moved into the former Sports Direct. And hopefully it's going to come back this year. And hopefully they'll open another branch elsewhere. That all depends on the coronavirus situation goes. So, when you do look at stores like that, Halloween House, it was one of the best ones. I know it was. I only went to the branch at Merry Hill because basically it was a lot bigger and cleaner. And then later it became, before that was an independent men's clothing store. Which sells suits and even those clothing, which you'll find more in other stores, especially with the lights on within the centre as well, especially in BT's. It's just opposite the Mander Centre, which is now closed, which was a big shame when we saw BT's closed in Wolverhampton, because BT's was part of Wolverhampton Town Centre. And continuation, before that was a cosmetic shop, which not many people would be interested in, because basically you got loads of cosmetic shop in Wolverhampton, so what's the point of having a shop like that in that position? So it was just no worth, so that closed just before the men's clothing store moved in, because it used to be on the other side, and they've moved it numbers of times because of the rates. And way before that was a boutique shop, and like I say, yet again, there was a few other boutique shops in Wolverhampton, and of course they would have suffered if that shop opened. And way before that, it was a bed shop, and that was in competition with Benson's, Dreams, Sleep Masters. Well, there weren't a Sleep Masters in Wolverhampton. Of course, it was called Sleep. And I presume that it was one popular brand. It was actually a bed shop. And then way before that, as we probably know, it used to be known It used to be a bustling part of the centre because it opened in 2011. But however, the store that it replaced originally was, of course, children's clothing store based in Nuneaton. Adams Kids was one high street name that really struggled in its past, because in my suspect it should have closed when the first stores were sold, with the likes of Kidderminster, Merry Hill, and even the branch of Stourbridge. So this is why I wasn't interested in the unit, because the design of the shop, it really needed refurbishment, and they couldn't be bothered because only the Stourbridge one changed when they changed it into a shoe zone, because there's actually a shoe zone upstairs in the Mander Centre. And so, like I say, when I do this Steadmale tour at the Mander Centre, I am going to include the main part, which is where the atrium is, but not going down towards where the escalators are towards Matalan, because that part is absolutely no chance. Because basically, it could be a chance for me, but apparently I don't see any people going down there much, because there aren't enough shops left, because this is why everything is all going online. So if any other kind of shops would want to take over, like big names want to get back down that end, all they'll need to do is get the shops refurbished, knock them into one, and then it will bring more trading within the centre, and taking out all the old tatty lights within the centre, within their stores, to make it a lot cleaner and better. And anyway, thanks for watching this trailer tour of the Mander Centre, and hopefully I could get back into the centre anytime soon. Thank you for watching.